out. It doesn't matter. Anybody yesterday knows full well that was 100% on the manager for his team selection of Harry Maguire, and an absolute farcical team selection. And look, I'm more than happy to do this. This is what we did yesterday, right? We played a deep defensive line, and then we had a high offensive line, and Leicester basically just kept coming through us. They passed through the press. You can't press when your team is like this. This is what we were doing. We were trying to press from the front, but then defend deep. And Leicester would just find a pass. They're at our back four. If you're going to press high up the pitch, you do what Leicester did. You go like this. You press the space. It's not rocket science. You press high up as a team. If you want to press from the front, your midfield needs to press. Your defence needs to press. We did press, but unfortunately, there's a massive gap here that Leicester can just pass through it. It was so basic. Nobody wants to call it out. But the reality is, when you pick Maguire and Lindelof, especially an injured Maguire, against people like Vardy, they're going to play a deep line. And, Gary Neville can say, wow, you know what? The players have got to press collectively. They've got to work harder. It doesn't. Bruno Fernandes runs around all over the place. I'm never going to have it that I don't think Bruno played well yesterday, but Bruno Fernandes runs around all over the place. If he runs around and Mason Greenwood run around, it's so easy for me to pass past them. Because if beyond Bruno and Greenwood there's space, I'll pass through them. They're not the Michelin man. They're fit athletes. They're only that wide. The football pitch is massive. I can dink it over their head. I can pass it into space. This nonsense that these ex-players try to sell you about, the team's not working hard. The players are working hard, but they're running they're like headless chickens. That's what they are. We're headless chickens, FC. To try and shift this onto players who aren't putting a shift in is nonsense. Watch the game back yesterday. Leicester played through us because we had such a massive gap between our centre-backs and our front line, and Leicester passed through it. And you know what as well? Gary Neville says, he comes out with this, he says, if you're going to play Sancho, Greenwood, Ronaldo, Pogba and Bruno, this is the reason we picked people like John O'Shea and Darren Fletcher in the past was because you've got to have workers in there. Less than a month ago, Gary Neville's team, his best 11, had Ronaldo, Bruno, Pogba, Greenwood in it. And I think he had Cavani and wanted to play Ronaldo on the wing. You can't put out your best 11 a month ago and then say, blame those players a month later. And it's this is the nonsense that gets on my nerves, because we're sat here as United fans this morning and it's very clear what the problem is. The coaching is a disgrace, but yet again we're waking up and we're having, it's on the players. 100% behind Ollie. Give him time and all this. And I'm like,